my new espresso machine. Ball? Yes, it's a ball. Praising them with an ulterior motive, I think you can feel that. I feel like guys are smart enough to know, and I think it's gonna feel patronizing. You could always show your gratitude. There's lots of ways you can do that. I've talked about raspberry rules, guys. Hey, it's a new day and welcome back to my channel. I'm on the road and I'm so excited to hang out with you guys today. I hope you can just turn this video on and we can kind of do our lives together. It's gonna be a chatty one, a fun one, and I was just really excited to film today. So I'm headed over to Evonnie's school because I drop a coffee off for each of her teachers once a month. I don't know, just for fun. It's fun for me, and who's gonna turn down coffee? They both love it, right? So, oh my goodness, I was debating if I wanted to show you, but I made these coffees with my new espresso machine, and this is what I've been doing lately. I bring along the whipped topping and the cinnamon, and then I garnish it at the very end so it looks like peak freshness. I don't know, I know I'm extra, I know, but half the fun of making coffees is making them pretty, so don't take that away from me. Anyway, after that, I need to head to the Mennonite grocery store in the area. The reason I'm going to that one particularly, because I'm looking for a raspberry pie filling, and they have it in the long tubes, like not in a can, and it's just really fresh and delicious. I want to make raspberry rolls because we have tenants moving into our new rental property, and they are a sweet little family, and I just thought it'd be nice to have something sitting on the counter for them. So raspberry rolls it is. They're delicious and a very springy type of dessert, I feel. And then I have some new things around the house I want to show you guys, some new updates and things, and also I want to have a little gal chat. You guys have some thoughts, I have some thoughts, and we're just gonna chat it out together this afternoon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm gonna get over there before these iced coffees melt. By the way, I think I'm turning into a lip gloss girl. I found this e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm at Target. It's kind of like a dupe for the Sunday Riley's one. It's like $25 a tube. Anyway, and I'm loving it. It's like, it's the right level of stickiness, if you know what I mean. Like, it sinks into your lips, and I don't know, it feels really good. So check it out if you're ever at a Target. Anyway, enough chatting. Time to hit the road. I'm home again. Here's one of my 3 munchkins. I forgot to even say, the reason my kids weren't with me is because my sister comes on Tuesdays and helps a little bit. She waters, okay, a lot, let's be honest. She waters plants and helps me clean and, I don't know, watches the children, whatever. He has a new word. He says, ball. It's so cute. Say, ball. What is it?
Ball.
Ball. Good job.
Ball.
Ball? Yes, it's a ball. Oh my word, it's so cute when they start talking. Uh-oh.
Ball.
Okay, if you guys watched my recent bedroom makeover, you will recognize where I'm standing right now, but there are some things that have changed a little bit, and I thought I'd show them to you because they came in and they styled it and it looked like a showroom, right? But then we had to go live in it. And I was surprised how much actually stayed the same. It pretty much looks how you've seen it before, except one, we had to have an alarm clock, and so I found this nice, sleek, modern one from Amazon, and I can link it below. It dims very nicely if you want it, you know, we dim it at nighttime. But yeah, I like how that looks there. It's sleek and minimal, and it's not the focus of the room. So this is the comforter they draped over the bed, and as you can see, it's kind of like metallic-y, and I like it, but I also love the other side too. So I've been kind of playing around and using different sides. This has more of like a homespun look to it, and you can see like the threads and everything. But I really like that putty doll color as well. So we kind of go back and forth, and I really like it. Okay, something that changed pretty quickly was my big puffy duvet. Josh did not like it. He sleeps so hot. I don't know what's up with him, and we're cuddlers, so I changed it out with, we actually just had this white quilt at home. Literally the very night we switched it out, we slept like babies from then on. So I guess he was right, even though I like the look of the puffy duvet. And although it's not as puffy and like luxurious looking as the duvet, I do like it. You know, it has a little bit of texture and stuff to it, and it's not really that noticeable. I think it looks great. And I kept the styling mostly the same. I did add Josh's watch here. He got this from a family-owned company over in Germany, the Eternity brand. I'll try to link them. Why does a guy in an expensive watch just look so good? Anyway, so I keep it here on the dresser for a reminder to him to wear it because he's not in the habit. You know, it's just for like a Sunday thing, a dressing up type of occasion. So if I leave it there, then it's like at top of mind and he remembers to put it on. But yeah, other than that, I was really surprised how like workable and livable this room was. I do have my socks and underwear in my nightstand there because I still haven't started on my walk-in closet project. So that will have to come up soon, but I actually like having it just in here. It forces me to be more minimal and very organized, and it actually is kind of working for me. But then all my dresses and skirts and sweaters and everything are in the closet hung up, so I wouldn't call my wardrobe minimal by any means. One other thing that changed was the mattress. Not really intentionally. We were looking for a mattress for my daughter. Evonnie and Fletcher were gonna flop their rooms because we have 2 boys and 1 girl, and currently Evonnie is in the big room. Sorry, that lighting was bad. We're gonna put the boys in the big room and then Evonnie in the small one, and so we needed another queen mattress, and I'm not a fan of spending a ton of money on mattresses. Like, whatever. I feel like you can get a comfortable mattress for a good price. I think the mattress we have on our bed is like $1,000, but we got it because of a warranty that went bad. And so they gave us an upgrade to a new mattress like a couple years ago. But anyway, I found Sienna Sleep, and they actually sent us a mattress for Evonnie, and it's on our bed currently because I wasn't gonna promote a mattress to you guys that we hadn't slept on ourselves and seen if it was comfortable. And we've been sleeping on it for about a month, and we actually really like it. Like, I don't know if we're gonna give it back to Evonnie or not. I guess we should probably be sleeping on the expensive mattress. I don't know, we'll see. Yet to be determined. But yeah, Sienna Sleep has amazing memory foam mattresses, and I had never tried a memory foam mattress before. And they're actually really nice. Josh was afraid they'd sleep hot, and they do not at all. I always thought with memory foam you like sink way down in, but if anything, I would say it's more firm than soft. Sienna's 10-inch mattress is built with 3 layers. First, you have the foam layer, which cradles your body at its most sensitive areas, and then you have the support layer underneath. This prevents you from sinking in too far into the mattress. And then finally, there is the base layer at the bottom, and this layer is intended to provide solid support. It gives structure and stability and ensures that you're gonna have a good sleep over time. We really like it, and it came in a box. The kids, it was so funny, they did not believe that there was a mattress inside the box. Okay, it is February and our new mattress just arrived. Miller, what's in there? What's in the box?
Open it.
There's a bed in the box.
No way.
You don't believe it? Fletcher doesn't believe there's a bed in this box.
There is not. I'm actually serious.
You're serious?
Yep. You know how I know? Because it's big. Beds are bigger than that.
Beds are bigger than this. Well, you're gonna wait and find out. So after we opened the box, it unfurled, and it really did not take long at all to expand. We slept on it that evening. It can take up to 2 days to fully expand, but we slept on it that night, and it felt amazing. So if you get one, I would say set it up in the morning, and then you can sleep on it in the evening. And if you don't love it, which we still do, but we would have up to 180 days to change your minds, and we could get it returned. So that's a really good return policy. Nobody wants to get off. Nobody wants to get off. It feels so good. Okay, this evening we'll make the bed. So if you're looking for a mattress recommendation that's not like an expensive one, I would say definitely check out Sienna. I think it works great, especially if we are gonna have a queen bed for each of our kids. So that adds up. So yeah, I think Sienna is proof that you don't have to, you know, spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to get a good mattress. So I'll put a link for them down below. You guys can check them out and let me know what you think if you have one. And what do you guys think of this world we live in where we can deliver mattresses in a box? I remember as a kid trying to squeeze a mattress up the stair steps of our skinny farmhouse hallway. I mean, truly, it is an amazing era when you can have your mattress delivered to your front door in a box. Fletcher is painting a little model tractor. No, what is it?
Train.
A train, sorry, a model train. And Miller is doing one of those Water Wow books. And I have my raspberry roll recipe here. It's actually from one of my students from 7 years ago. So Maddie's mom, thank you for the recipe. She brought in these raspberry rolls one time to school and I had to ask her for the recipe. And she wrote the whole thing out, nice and detailed for me. So it does take yeast. I know so many people who are afraid of anything with yeast, but honestly, as long as your water is like very warm, but not too warm. And this recipe just says rise till double, so it doesn't matter if it's like a gloomier day and not as warm, it'll just take a little longer to rise till double, and when you see it's about double in size, you're good to go. I don't know why people are so stressed about it. I have had things flop, I'm acting all confident here, but it's not usually because of the yeast. It's usually from lack of reading directions or the method properly. I think that's something with yeast things. You can't just add ingredients in whatever order you feel. You do kind of have to follow the steps. And I learned something new today. Oxidant flour and regular all-purpose flour are the exact same thing. So who would have known? Yeah, you learn something new every day. I didn't realize it. Now this recipe calls for 5 to 6 cups of flour. So in my experience, when you're working with bread, you want to do 5. So that was 2, 3. You want to do 5, and then you have a cup reserved back if you need it, if it's like sticking or whatever, you know? So start with a smaller amount, and then you can always add more. It's a lot harder to take it out, you know? Impossible, really. So something that drives me nuts about Josh, but I've been thinking about it lately, and I'm like, maybe I actually kind of like it, is he will tell me when I make something and it's not good. And it like hurts my feelings. I'm so annoyed. I'm like, look, if you can read a recipe, you can cook. I don't know why. Like, I guess let's acknowledge the fact that we both have very opposite taste buds and preferences. I just made cookies the other day and we had people over, and after we left, he's like, by the way, Megan, those cookies were dry. Like, and he's not saying it in like a mean way. He's saying it in like, you make so many other good cookies. Don't make that recipe again. It was a King Arthur's flour chocolate chip oatmeal cookie, so it wasn't like a traditional chocolate chip cookie. I loved it because I like that chew that oatmeal gives you, but yeah, he didn't love it. But you know what? I'm like, there is kind of safety in knowing that if something is not good, he will let us know. And then hopefully save me an embarrassment of like serving it to other people. One time I added garlic salt instead of garlic powder accidentally. I was in a rush, people were coming, and the potato wedges I made they were so garlicky and salty and like not in a good way. And he was over there tasting, he's like, Megan, what's wrong with these? I'm like, oh my word, okay. So rather Josh tell me than the guests. So I don't know, it actually kind of helps to have an honest husband who is maybe a little more blunt than your ego can take sometimes. So also, did you guys watch our Honey, I'm Homemaker episode on loving the home that you've got? In there, I talked about get the pretty version of everything that you need to buy. Look at my pretty measuring spoons. They're so cute, and the little mint on it matches my mint toaster back there. I mean, if you're gonna be spending money on it anyway, get the pretty version. What, Fletcher?
Mama, can you let the salt and something?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll dry, it won't take that long. 1/4 of a cup oil, an egg. How confident are you guys with eggs? I always crack it into, well, usually, especially if I'm cooking for others, crack it into a separate container just in case a shell would get in. I don't know. I guess it depends how confident I'm feeling that particular day. Also, I forgot to put my yeast back, but I keep it in the freezer. That also helps it react better to the warm water. I don't know, it's a tip my mom always did, so I do it too. It's funny how when our moms do something, it's like the holy grail, and that's what we have to do. Yeast, water, sugar, salt, egg, oil, flour. Okay, so now I'm just adding the yeast mixture to the dough. I'm gonna stir it up. Okay, it's looking a little sticky, so I'm gonna add, I have a cup of reserved flour here. I'm gonna just add a little bit more of it. And I'll keep this sitting back and keep using it as I go just to gauge how much I'm using because I don't want to go over 6 cups. The kneading process is always the part that makes me a little nervous because it says knead till elastic, which, when is that, you know?
Fast, I love that. I love you, Mommy.
I love you, Fletcher.
I love you, Mommy.
Okay, I'm just gonna cover it and set it over by the window, and I'll catch up with you guys when it's doubled. Probably won't be till the boys are done with their naps. How are you doing, Miller? So I'm not sure if it's just the nature of this recipe, how there's a lot of different moving parts. You're mixing dough, you're making dough rise, you're making a glaze. That's what I'm doing here. I'm making the glaze that goes on top. But anyway, there's a lot of different elements and components. And also with being a mother, I just feel like these next images, while they're very like calming and homey, it's just a lot of back and forth and juggling it all. I had laundry going, so I had to take care of that. And of course there's little boys involved. So I left these clips in the order of them being filmed, so you can kind of follow my journey through the next hour before the kids' nap time. When my dough had risen till doubled, I got it out, punched it down a little bit, and rolled it out pretty thin here, made it like a nice rectangle. And then I just squeezed the raspberry pie filling on. I'm sure you could really make this bougie and make your own raspberry pie filling, but this had enough steps for me, and I just like the easy convenience of this bought stuff. And then you just smear all out in a nice even layer. You kind of want it about the thickness I did here. If you do it much less, it doesn't taste, you know, it's a little drier. And if you do a lot more, it will squeeze out and just be really messy, and you won't get that nice swirly look. And then you'll just roll your rectangle up. I don't know if you've ever made a jelly roll or a pumpkin roll in the fall. It's kind of that same process. And yes, this is dental floss. It is a trick that my mom taught me, and it works really well. Rather than trying to use a knife and just smushing down your roll, you use a piece of dental floss and you kind of scissors it with that. I think it's recommended to use unflavored dental floss. I'm not gonna lie here, guys. This was just the regular mint dental floss, and it didn't matter. We didn't taste any mint at all in these raspberry rolls. And I'm just cutting them about an inch thick. It doesn't really matter what you do, but I would say try to make them all the same because you want them all done at the same time. And my granite countertops, although I don't love them, I don't really love the looks of them at all. They are real granite and they work really nice. I don't have to baby them a lot or anything, but you'll see I really floured up my work surface so that things were not sticking. They might look a little wonky when you're putting them in your pans. I did not even grease these, I just plopped them right in and it was fine. But don't worry, they will kind of rise again as they're sitting there and they'll look pretty when you're done, you'll see. And then it was back to laundry again. My son folds washcloths and he helps sort his own laundry. I do a no fold system with the kids' clothes at this point, but they're getting so big, I think I'm gonna start having to change that soon. And honestly, it feels like it's the end of an era and I'm kind of sad about it. Uh-oh. Can you wipe it up? Uh-oh. And wipe it up? You wipe up the milk? You spilled the milk. Don't cry over spilled milk.
I'll clean it up.
Now Miller's doing a good job. Yeah. Clean up the milk. You spilled it. Okay, I am just cozying up here in my little seating area in my bedroom to have a little girl chat. So there's a topic that affects most of us if you are a married homemaker, and that is, how do you get your husband, your partner, to help out around the house? You guys want to discuss this, and I have some thoughts. I've seen some interesting points of view online, and I agree with some of them, but I would say, first of all, so assuming that you've discussed it with him and it still hasn't happened, he's still not really helping out around the house, my first question for you would be, does he see you sitting on your phone, scrolling, you know, with lots of wasted time throughout the day? That may be part of the reason he's not taking any initiative. You know, my husband works hard all day and then he comes home and he doesn't see me sitting around. I'm very busy, I'm working. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the right thing to do all the time, but he doesn't see me wasting a lot of time. He knows I have a lot on my plate and I'm busy, and so I feel like in his heart he tries to chip in when he can. He does really good in some seasons, but at the same time too, I am the primary homemaker, and so most things are like under my jurisdiction unless we've previously talked about it and been like, can you deal with the trash, you know, regularly? Or we've discussed already that he's the one that empties the dish rack and reloads it if he happens to be home, you know? Things like that. So I feel like Josh gets some brownie points. It hasn't always necessarily been that way. So the first thing I would say is evaluate your own life. Do you actually need the help, or are you just not utilizing your time wisely? Ouch, I feel like I stepped on some toes there. Anyway, the next thing is, so if you do determine that, okay, you have so much on your plate, and you know what, there's different seasons. I want to address that too. There's so many different seasons of life, and sometimes our husbands just don't get it, that having a new baby can just be super draining, and like you're tired and you're just not productive and you can't get things done, and you just want to sit and hold your baby sometimes too. There's no shame in that, right? But where you might have been super competent, you know, even 2 weeks ago, now you're just running behind, and I know how it is when your house feels like it's just not caught up. And then if they come home and they just want to sit down and watch sports or play video games, then obviously it can be very frustrating. So if maybe that's more your case, it's just a busy season, I mean, just say it. Hello, you guys are married. Be like, it is going to be a really busy week or two for the next couple weeks until I get this church event planned, or until I'm done helping my grandma, she's aging, whatever, things like that. You might have to just have a blunt conversation. Hello, you're married. I don't think that needs to be awkward or weird at all. Just be honest about it and ask if there's any way that they can help out in the evenings. You know, explain that you want to have time with your family and you want to be able to sit down in the evenings and, you know, play Sorry with the kids or things like that. Just express what you want. But I will say, definitely don't come at him like you're his mother. That's the worst thing you could do. I told Josh that I wanted to talk about this topic, and he's like, yeah. He's like, the minute you mention mother and acting like the mother, it's just like, it's very unattractive and nobody wants to hear it, right? You're not his mother, you're his partner. So like, don't come at him with that energy. That's just not fun at all, right? To be his mother. But I get it, you know, sometimes guys just think that there's a sock fairy or a laundry fairy who just like picks up the clothes and puts them in the basket and things like that. So it's, in my experience, you just say something, like make it a joke, be funny about it even, or be, I don't know, don't be super passive aggressive or anything. But yeah, point it out that it would be a lot easier if they would just take their own clothes and put them in the wash basket themselves or whatever. that used to be a problem for us with Josh's whiskers when he would shave. They would be in the sink and they would be disgusting. And I would just be like, ew, sure, I could have just cleaned them up, whatever. But I literally said it like one time and he cleans up after he's done shaving. I don't have to worry about it again. And I do the same types of things for him. I clean out the shower when I'm in the shower, but then he cleans out the drains, you know? It's like a give and a take. And I don't want to just sit here and be like bragging on Josh all the time or anything, but it all started, I think it all stems from very early on when we were young married. I was a busy school teacher. We both worked pretty much the same amount of hours. And so we kind of just like tag teamed it from the beginning. So that is a good point. If you are just coming into homemaking and you just got married, begin as you intend to go on. You ever hear that quote? Start things out like you want it to keep going. Don't just think like, well, I'll be his mother, you know, and do all of his things for him. No, you're a partnership. You know, maybe when you're driving in the car or something, be like, hey, what are your chores that you absolutely hate the most? And maybe he doesn't like mowing and you enjoy it. Or making the bed is something that's really important to him, but you don't really care about it. So then you decide you're gonna prioritize that. Like, discuss things. You're married to each other. One thing I will say not to do that I've heard so many times is that when they do help out and they're super helpful, that you're supposed to praise them up and down and, oh my goodness, thank you so much for emptying out the dishwasher. I really appreciate. Guys, if you picked a guy that you have to treat like a dog, I don't know what to say. Like, yes, of course, be thankful and praise them, but don't do it with like, I feel like that's the opposite of passive aggressive, like praising them with an ulterior motive. I think you can feel that. I feel like guys are smart enough to know, and I think it's gonna feel patronizing. So genuinely express gratitude, and that's really what it all comes down to look at your spouse with gratitude, understand that they might have had a long hard day too, and try to look at things from their point of view. They're probably not trying to intentionally sabotage you. I feel like sometimes I would feel that way too when Josh would like empty the trash and not put a new trash bag in, and I'd come over with like greasy meat papers and stuff and there's like no trash bag, and it's like so easy to think they're trying to get under my skin, you know? No, that's probably not what it's coming from. It's just like absent-minded, whatever. So I think there is steps that you can take, but then there's also an attitude adjustment that needs to happen too, I feel. And I've done better with this in some years than others, but for the most part, I cannot complain. I feel like Josh is a very active helper, and a lot of that stems from all the things that I have on my plate too, but I could not do what I'm doing without him, like 100%. Actions become habits, and the more something happens, it just becomes a habit. So if there is a bad habit that's been happening and you want to change it, it's gonna take some like intentional boot camp is kind of what I like to say. And obviously we're not putting our husbands through boot camp, but maybe even just our whole family, like, okay, we are not gonna go to bed until the kitchen is tidied up every night or whatever, and just like voice it out loud. You're all a team, you're together. You know, Fletcher, you're gonna be in charge of clearing off the table. Evonnie, you're gonna sweep the floor, and Daddy's gonna load the dishwasher. If you're not happy with something, take actions to change it. And I think there is a place of power that we as women have as the primary homemakers. Like, things are on our plate. Sometimes I would get really grouchy at Josh, like, you're not helping me. I always just hated that whole attitude of it's all my responsibility, and if Josh does anything to help out, then that's just extra and like wonderful, and like, oh my word, he needs a blue ribbon. So maybe not that energy necessarily, but more of just like, we're a team, we're in this together, and there's different seasons. Something else that Josh and I do is when he comes home from work, I realized we did this without even trying. This was like unintentional. Sometimes he would come home from work and he'd be like, I have a lot of office work to do this evening. And then I would be like, okay, that's fine. I'll take the kids and I'll be in charge of them. They can help me bake this evening or whatever I had going. Or sometimes he'll come home and I'll be like, I need an evening. Like, I have editing I need to do, or I need to run errands or whatever. And like, one of you probably has more energy than another, and one of you probably has more tasks to get done than another. And I'm just speaking here as in the typical homemaker at home, husband off winning the bread or whatever. So apply this to your situation, however that might be. But yeah, have that discussion and figure out what is on the docket for the evening, unless you have like a really rigid evening routine that you always do. I feel like most people don't, especially as your kids get older. There's like sports and activities and different things like that. Summertime especially, there's lots of last minute evening happenings and things like that. So I think it's just a good time of year to practice that intentional conversation every evening. And yeah, it might do wonders. And for those of you who do have husbands that maybe don't treat you like gold, you can't change your partner. You can only change your reactions. So I don't know, that's not really a specific tip or anything, but I think it can go a long way if you are dealing with a frustration like that. Voice your concerns, and at the end of the day, be willing to recognize that you only have so much power, you know, and you're not his mother. And for those of us that have helpful, hardworking, supportive husbands, I think we need to be more appreciative of that, and not just, you know, that's how they've always been, and of course that's the expectation now. No, we have true gems and we need to appreciate it, right? You can always show your gratitude. There's lots of ways you can do that. I'm talking about raspberry rules, guys. Oh, guys. Anyway, okay, speaking of raspberry rolls, I think I just heard the timer go, so let's go down and have a taste. Okay, I just plated up the raspberry rolls, and Josh is, what, you're picking up trash or something to head to the next job? Anyway, he's gonna take these over there, but we better see if they're any good first. Dig in. Wait. He's way up there. Hang on. Evonnie just arrived home from school too, but she didn't want any. She said she doesn't like raspberry. What one, Isaiah?
Raspberries are so good.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? You don't like it? What's wrong? Great. So who am I going to give them to if you don't like them?
No, I will also be granted I'm not very hungry because I just ate. But
oh, yeah, that's true.
look, I'm eating jelly bread. But it's good.
So cinnamon rolls are better.
Yeah, cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
It's a nice spring twist.
Yeah, it literally tastes like jelly I put on my bread.
I was just telling them earlier
It's good.
I was just telling them earlier how I can always rely on you to give an honest report of my cooking.
Correct. No, they're pretty good.
I guess it all goes to show that it's all about taste buds, because I thought they were delicious.
I bet you they'll be delicious tomorrow morning with my coffee.
Yeah, that's true. I like the sour raspberry with the sweet glaze. Like, I think it goes good together. But I mean, you can always try peach or something else too, I guess. Josh, watch this.
Yeah, they were better the second time. Like with my coffee the next morning, they were amazing.
Yeah. Tell people what actually happened after I turned my camera off.
They were good. They were amazing. After, like, right when I tried them, it was not anything what I was expecting. The next morning with coffee, they were stellar.
I gave a tray to his mom because his brother liked them, and Josh was acting like he didn't. And you were not impressed. He's like, I wanted them. I'm like, I thought you didn't even like them.
No, I did like them. Yeah. And then she gave them all away.
So they weren't chocolate chip cookie status, but they were good.
No, the chocolate chip cookies, top notch.
Oh man, I have a very critical food critic in my house.
But a good old chocolate chip cookie is all it takes to make me happy.
Anyway, I don't know what he's talking about. Whether you're a raspberry fan or not, you can definitely try this recipe with like different flavors. I saw they had peach there. The peach filling would have been amazing too, I think. But yeah, it was fun to try. But if they're not Josh's absolute favorite and they're kind of a lot of work, probably won't be making them right away again. They are like a fun spring summer recipe, so anyway, I'm gonna clean this kitchen up. It is quite the wreck, as it often is after you're done baking, right? But as always, I'm so glad you guys spent the day with me, and check out Sienna Sleep down below. I will leave the link for them, and yeah, you guys can get a very comfortable mattress right to your door. Thank you, Sienna, for sponsoring this video, and as always, thank you guys for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone. Hola. Is that hello or goodbye?
It's both.
They have the same word for both.
Uh-huh.
What country is that?
It's the place where Grandma and Grandpa were, Texas.
Mexico.
Mexico.
Oh my goodness. They say hola when they come and when they leave.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty cool.
May I say?
Go ahead.